Oh, hello. Well, hello there. Tarkus Demos. Eyes forward, no looking back. The Vendrian guard warrior roars with his falx held high, his words largely lost over the din of combat. Stand aside, or your funeral will be over the side of the bluff. Seeing you squarely in his path, the soldier points his weapon your way. There is no escape, and for Oathbreakers, no surrender. Then we'll settle this with bronze. The warrior points towards you, ordering his men to advance. These fools don't know when to stop. I like that. Charge! As he signals his men to charge, the sound of chanting rises from the south, drawing his attention. Scarlet Chorus. Scarlet Chorus reinforcements, hurry! Yay, reinforcements. Run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape! From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, the blood chanter emerges at the head of the rabble, the ornamental crest of her staff pulsing with crimson tones. Signing sigils of air, wordlessly moving her mouth, the blood chanter describes a series of spells into the air. A red glow surrounds the Vendrian guard warriors as the chanter's magic worms its way into their minds, blinding them with rage. Hold position, all of you! You there, keep to the path! The warrior gestures along the canyon trail, but his soldiers turn their attention to the Scarlet Chorus, roaring challenges. No, don't engage them, we need to run! His orders falling on deaf ears, the warrior reluctantly readies his weapon.
Look at that!
Whoa, what? Whoa, I don't want to be in. What's going on? Everything's going very quickly. Companions. The companion Verse has joined your party. Verse is a capable warrior, skilled in both melee and ranged combat. As you acquire companions, you will need to balance their strengths against the strength of your character to be successful in combat. While it is possible to adventure alone, you will find the game more rewarding with a well-balanced party. There are now 2 characters in your party and both are selected. Any commands you issue now will affect both party members. To select a single party member, click on their selection circle, their portrait, or press F1 to select the player character, or F2 to select Verse. Okay, so the F keys. That's why F5 was not a button for saving. They can hold anywhere on the screen and drag the marquee over the circles. You can either control your new companion directly, or you can enable their AI and have them attack and use your abilities automatically. Once their AI is enabled, you can always select them and tell them to attack a specific enemy or use an ability, and they will follow your orders. If you right-click on the AI button, you can see the AI settings for your party members. You can set the auto-attack behavior of each character, which determines how they attack enemies. For companions, you can also choose AI packages that determine how they will use their abilities in combat. Verse has several stance abilities. Oh, she does? That provide her with different benefits in combat. Stances are modal abilities, meaning they can be toggled on and off. Only one stance can be active at a time. When a stance is deactivated, all stance abilities enter cooldown for a short duration. Seeking Sheath, plus in accuracy. 3 Whispers, plus 20 dodge. I don't think that's the stance she wants to be in. Well, let me select them? Okay. Let's knock them down, guys. What is this? This is Verse. Okay. Verse. Skewer this person. Velian, you can slice Mr. Nah, do you know what? You can flurry him. Because he's already on the ground. Or, and bleeding, presumably. Did you not flurry? I told you to flurry. Is there any reason not to use a range attack? Somebody a melee in this game? Oh no, I told him. Doesn't look like it. Okay, thrust. Now, I might... How long does this last? This one lasts for 12 seconds? Yeah, let's use that. Oh! Have a music potion?
Damn! Thing couldn't pierce cloth.
This snagging tank with my what? Stealing shadows. Not right.
Even a fury needs her sleep.
Crescent Runner. Come quick! We have a situation on the cliffside! They have the commander! Several skulls, bleached by the sun and picked clean by carrion birds, spiked on a roughly hewn post. It is the only heraldry the Scarlet Chorus needs. Weapons and armor are strewn haphazardly around the cart. Every blade shows signs of rust, every piece of armor is in need of repair. Take all. Is backspace select all in this? It is. Good, good. F5, save. Oh right, her health was so low because she was wounded. Weapons and armor are stacked with neat precision on this transport cart. Every spear is honed and oiled, ready for battle. Kairos ordered the original icon of the disfavored erased from memory. For over 100 years, the disfavored had kept the scratched out iconography, wearing it with pride. And man, everything moves too fast in this. Oh, maybe it's because I'm in fast mode. Admiring this favorite sigil? I know a thing or two about that. Sure, tell me about it. Couldn't help but notice you were eyeballing this favorite symbol littered about the camp. It's hardly a symbol, just a scrawl. That's true, but it used to be the pride of Graven Ash's Legion before Kairos made them deface it. What happened? Word has it that Ash has been under more scrutiny than the other Archons, seeing as he took a stand against Kairos in the past. Even though he bent the knee in the end, that doesn't place him above suspicion. Kairos and the other Archons keep him on a tight leash. My throat's getting pretty bad. Okay. He took a stand, did he? Before he bent knee to Kairos, Graven Ash rallied his legions against the Overlord's authority. His prowess on the battlefield ingratiated him to the Archons, who welcomed him into their ranks in exchange for his obedience. Ash's troops impressed the growing empire, but Kairos made them sacrifice everything they were up to that point. Okay, let me try again. Ash's troop impressed the growing empire, but Kairos made them sacrifice everything they were up to the point Ash surrendered. They've been disfavored ever since and fighting to earn back their honor. I guess that's why you don't cross the Overlord. Kairos holds a grudge with a mean, jealous streak. I've heard enough. I don't blame you. Compared to the Scarlet Chorus, the disfavored are about as interesting as hard labor. The symbol of the Scarlet Chorus is smeared in blood on a tattered cloth tent. No effort has been made to repair the gaping tears. The torn banners bear the scratched-out icon of the disfavored. The army's original symbol has been lost to history, and Graven Ash has never ordered a replacement, preferring the blasted icon over all others. Hello, Cosma. What are you doing? You'll draw attention to me. Oh, I triggered something. Pelix Tyrell. Stow your weapons, or we find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Cornered between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers, the Oathbreaker warrior holds a disfavored officer at knife point. Skewer him! Worry not for me! Graven Ash will protect! The disfavored officer winces, blood seeping from the seams of his bracers and cuirass. Mocking Blaze. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use that little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? This blade? With a jerk of the knife, he slices off a clump of Drastus' matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer. Sure. I'm going to lower my weapon and charge forward and wrest the knife from him. Using my athletics. The Oathbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right. Now the rest of you, drop those weapons! With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drastus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. The disfavored warriors rush forward from either side of you. Tyrell barely manages a strained gasp before being hacked and impaled upon their swords and spears. Kairos be praised! That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself! Drastus slides a trembling hand along the cut on his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. Rage of Cairn. Cairn, the mountainous Archon of Stone, accompanied by the disfavored on the conquest of the Tears. His temper and proclivity toward destructive solutions often branded him a liability to the otherwise orderly takeover, but his powers were not easily dismissed. During the Azure campaign, Cairn went on a rampage, declaring himself independent of Kairos and the conquest an unlawful sham. Kairos drafted the Edict of Stone to put an end to the rebellious Archon, and his petrified corpse rests in the ruins of Azure to this day. From the look of it, guess they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might make it out. They found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Drastus holds out a handful of crumpled parchments for your inspection. Literacy is rare in the Northern Empire, where the disfavored are born and trained. Time spent reading and writing is, after all, time not spent sparring and readying one's body and mind for battle. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. All that training in Graven Ash doesn't teach you to read. You've gained wrath with the disfavored. The commander stares at you, unamused. Fine. I'm going to examine the parchment. Repeating the same message in different written scripts, the parchment explains the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kairos' Archons and rout their armies from the Tears. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invites all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traitors to the fight. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gates to the southeast and follow the trails down slope for a few hours. You will see the campfires leagues away. Can't miss it. Yay. Alright. Another thing I can't use. What's this? Quick finger bangles. Haste. +1 quickness. Sweet. Bulks. Cool. I'll give everything to my main character because I'm a greedy boy. I'm a greedy boy. Oh, is it one-handed? No, it's two-handed. I don't want it. I don't want it. What about this? Deflection, 4%. Oh, no deflection. Does it have any benefit? Some extra armor. And... okay, that's it. We'll give it to her. Does she have anything? Oh, she does. Nope, I'll leave things as they are. The once pure water of Queen Lycaris' tears has run red since Kairos' forces invaded. Oh, okay.
Right.
Why? Just with blood?
Can't do that.
Want to talk? Let's talk.
Need to talk? I suppose I can give you a moment of my time.
Verse crosses her arms and regards you with curiosity.
What do you need?
Tell me something about yourself.
If you insist. I'm a Scarlet Fury. That should raise some flags for you. It means that I'm good at killing, and more importantly, that I enjoy it.
Oh, so we have something in common.
What I won't enjoy are the pleasures of funerary rites packed with weeping mourners. Someday I'll fall in battle, and then they'll roll me into a mass grave or heap me atop a shit-stained wagon. One more anonymous, knife-riddled piece of meat. Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun along the way.
Tell me about your life before the course. Life? What life? As far as I'm concerned, I didn't exist before the course. There was some girl in a farm wearing my face and talking with my voice, but she wasn't me. Sometimes she would sneak out at night, take a scythe, and have some fun with the livestock. Our shared interests began and ended there. When the Scarlet Course swept through my village on their long trek from the bastard city, that was when I finally woke up. I buried my old life, took red vengeance on anyone who had wronged me, and found the freedom I could only dream was out there. And what of your parents? My mother ran a successful farm, and I worked it for a number of years before I found the course. She was a hard, bitter woman, acted like the world owed her something. She never talked about my father, though I figured out a thing or two about him later on. He was a merchant from the Northern Empire who took a liking to her, and she him. He stayed around, only long enough to get what he wanted. But never mind him. My mother never had what you would call taste, so he couldn't have been terribly influential to me if he did stick around. Do you ever wish you could do things over and end up somewhere other than Kairos' army? That's a naive question as I've ever heard. Kairos is everywhere. If you aren't in the Overlord's army, you're being trampled by it. Of course, I could have labored on the family farm into my maturing years, married some dolt and littered him a nursery of squealing piglets. Having my body torn to pieces by smaller versions of me sounds like fun. Then, one day, when I decided enough was enough, I'd slit my husband's throat over breakfast and run off to join the course anyway. My way saved a lot of time. Verth smooths back the feathers in her hair and shakes her head with a smile. You're a killer. Better to stick with the course. At least you understand. The course praises and rewards the thing inside me that I would suppress in civilized company. Life is too short to repress every desire, right? Especially if I have anything to say about it. And how did you get conscripted, Verse? How did I think you have the wrong idea about me. The course didn't take me as a sobbing maid. I strode into their camp and enlisted. Someone tossed me a dented blade, I lived through initiation, spent a week butchering my neighbors, and moved on with my new kin. I didn't waste time with goodbyes. My mother had long since died, and the rest of my family were louses. The girl I used to be, even she knew that she was worth more than all of them combined. And what is the significance of your feathers? Insufficient reputation. Oh, I don't tell that story to just anyone. You'll have to butter me up before I get into the really intimate details. Enough questions about your past, then. That suits me just fine. I'm not much for comparing family histories if I can avoid it. Tell me about your time with the Scarlet Course.
The Scarlet Chorus is mostly for the madmen and peasants with rusty daggers, but it's also a little niche of freedom that I never had. Once I survived training and met my Scarlet Fury sisters, I saw a different side of the howling mob.
Tell me about your training, then.
For new recruits shoved to the front lines, training means surviving the first battle. Anything beyond that is for the fighters who show potential, whether as blade dancers or arcane madmen. There's nothing in the world like getting put through the paces as a Scarlet Fury. Every day is a test of your commitment and passion. Failure means death. The first few weeks were the hardest, but also the most rewarding. I earned my name, picked up some quality weapons, and met my sisters.
How about you tell me about the Scarlet Furies, then?
The elite fighters of the Scarlet Chorus. Your typical Horde recruit fights with a rusty spoon and a chip on his shoulder, but the Scarlet Furies are, well, different. We focus our madness. We coordinate, we kill, we dance. It's like art. Imagine a sculpture that twisted in weird, beautiful angles, and then gutted you too fast for you to realize what was happening.
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
It is, as I remind myself all the time. The most important day of my life was when the voices of Nerat recognized my potential and sent me to Scarlet Fury training.
You earned your name? If you think a simple farmer from the Tears would name her child Verse, I suggest you visit my old village. Most of them were walking around with surnames like Barrel or Fish. Not the most creative bunch. She smirks and shakes her head. The course takes your name anyway. Whoever you were before, you aren't that person anymore. Then you earn back a name through great deeds, usually murderous ones. That's why you see choirmen walking around with names like Stinkmouse or Face First. There's probably a good reason for it. The voices of Nerat gave me this name. When the Scarlet Chorus runs howling into battle, he doesn't hear war. He hears a symphony, and when I fight with blade or bow, he told me that my music stands out louder than anyone else's, and contains too many parts to be easily defined. When you least suspect it, the Archon of Secrets could be downright charming. What's your real name? That question isn't worthy of either of us, but I'll entertain it out of pity. You already know me by my real name. It's Verse. Are you looking for whatever arbitrary collection of letters and sounds my mother thought was appropriate when she didn't even know me? Then you're out of luck. I buried that name long ago. Long by my standards, anyway. Tell me about your weapon skills. When I was just a kid, it didn't take me long to realize I was a natural. I could pick up a rusty kitchen knife and skewer a rat from across the room. The Scarlet Chorus gave me opportunities to further educate myself. My sisters were always a bit surprised by how quickly I took to different fighting styles. She frowns for a moment and then shakes off whatever she wanted to say. Back to my questions about the Scarlet Chorus.
What do you need to know?
Before, you hesitated when you brought up your fighting styles. Why? As if that's any of your business. If I wanted to say something, you would have heard it. Don't assume that I'm holding back. You fight for me, do you not? Tell me. I suppose that's true, and like any competent gang boss, you want to know if your second in command is losing her nerve. Seems fair enough. I mentioned before that I'm good at picking up different weapons and fighting techniques. The truth is, I'm better than good. I could flay a man so cleanly that I'd leave a single strip of skin behind. He wouldn't even need to be tied down. That was one of the first things I discovered about myself after joining the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat recognized it in me as well, which is why he singled me out for Scarlet Fury training. Have you tried that flaying trick before? Let's just say that when we ran out of canvas for pitching tents, the Fifth Eye handed me a knife and pointed me to the prison pens. She winks. My sisters were the masters of their fighting forms, but since they died, my style has changed. Almost like I can kill as they did. I could pick up a bow, a lance, anything, really. I could tear someone to pieces with a weapon I only watched my sisters use. I don't know what it could mean, and that worries me. Who are your sisters? Who were they would be more appropriate. 3 Whispers, Red Geyser, and Seeking Sheath. Best fighters I ever met. There wasn't a foe we couldn't take down together. Our fighting styles complemented perfectly, so we divided up the killing work like bards sharing a song. At least, we used to. She presents a solemn salute. Got a lot to say. I bit off more than I could chew. Tell me about the 3 Whispers. She was calm as the surface of a pond and light on her feet. More than one foe tripped and fell on their own blade due to Whisper's crafty footwork. Verse lets her gaze slip away from you as a fleeting moment of sorrow steals her attention. Then tell me about Red Geyser. A one-woman siege breaker. She would launch herself at her foes like a battering ram. Not even his favorite's flanks would have withstood that dumb, suicidal wench. Karis's eyes, but she was something to behold. Verse slams her fist into her palm. Tell me about Seeking Sheath. That girl could pass a spear through 12 rings from the far side of a battlefield. Karis helps any foe who approaches her marching single file. She made a game of spitting as many soldiers as possible in the same javelin. And what happened to them? We were scouting around Vendrian's well during the siege, back when we only suspected the guard of organizing in secret. My sisters and I came upon a group of them. Or, Kairos knows, maybe they found us. No one said anything. We drew iron and bronze. That was when everything went wrong. I was supposed to take point and occupy the guard with a dance of bladework, something disorienting while my sisters picked their marks. I hesitated. I lost my nerve. Instead of rushing the Oathbreakers, I froze with my weapon drawn. My sisters fought on with me, but they were off balance, like whoever I had was catching. They died. I lived. My sisters were relying on me to lead the dance, and I failed them. Your actions were inexcusable for a fighter of your station. You're absolutely right. If I had witnessed the same in one of my sisters, I might have even killed her for endangering the rest of us. Good thing for me that they didn't get the chance. She chuckles, but there's no humor in it. Hesitation is a rot, it's unbecoming of any course member, and unheard of in a Scarlet Fury. I would cut it from my body and cauterize the wound if only I knew its source. She grimaces once more and turns inward, contemplating. Any thoughts on the topic, or are we just here to open old wounds? Any idea why you lost your nerve in battle? I wish I had an explanation for the first time. I lost the dance. The song of murder drew silent. Instead, there was only rigid, organized control. I had more questions about your sisters. Never mind. Back to my questions about the Scarlet Chorus.
What do you need to know?
Who are the Scarlet Chorus leaders? Well, the Voices of Marat is the spider at the center of the web. He acts like the army belongs to him, and he only lends it to Kairos because it suits his purpose, both of which are true. The rest are all offshoots of the Voice, like the Fifth Eye. Once you get down to the rank and file, the Scarlet Chorus organizes around a motley bunch of gang bosses who call the shots. What do you want to know? Tell me about the Voices of Narat. He's a madman, but that never stopped me from following his orders. Even in a legion as cutthroat as the Chorus, you know better than to get on the Voice's bad side. People who cross him, or just the people he meets, don't tend to survive the experience. If he ever seems disorganized or lost, it's because he's channeling one of the personalities he's devoured over the years. His mannerisms shift over to someone else, someone who's probably long since dead. Sounds a little like you. Better to die than become part of the Voices. Lore. Through powers you can't begin to understand, the Voices of Narat steals the minds and knowledge of his victims. You know this happened often during the campaign against the Tears. What he gains from this ability, beyond his apparent madness, is anyone's guess. You know better than to ask him about it directly. What makes the Voices of Narat so powerful? He's the Archon of Secrets, and he didn't earn that title lightly. People say that he knows more than every sage in the Tiers combined, and that he can think 1,000 steps ahead of the other Archons. It would be putting it lightly to say he's never alone under that disproving helmet of his. If you make secrets your business, I guess having people constantly whisper in your ear is a good thing. I usually want people to shut up, but to each their own. Tell me about the Fifth Eye. A walking nightmare, that one. I wouldn't begin to guess who lives under that armor and speaks with that reedy voice, but I'll tell you what I do know. When your world is built on secrets, it pays to have a few extra eyes. The Voices of the Rat has eyes in abundance, some that he keeps close, and others that he sends out in the wilderness. Whoever the Fifth Eye was before he came into the Archon service, now he's just half-mad, jabbering speech hole, a bodily function. In other words, an eye. Wait, Narat's eyes are people? Maybe they used to be people. Whatever they were, they're eyes now. Folks like to whisper that the voices in Narat take his servants and cuts out all the extra parts that they don't need. She makes a quick snipping gesture with her fingers. I once heard the voices around the fifth eye in a tent together. The voices kept screaming, "Redundancies! Redundancies!" Every time another gout of blood would spray on the canvas walls. I can't even guess what he was cutting out. How many eyes does the Archon of Secrets have? Oh, the number keeps changing. Either because it grows or because rumors don't mean shit. 3, 7, 19. Some even say that all of us are eyes and we don't even know it. She shakes her head in thoughtful disapproval. One of those questions that drives you mad if you allow yourself to think about it for too long. Hey, you could be one of Tunan's eyes, but you never thought of that. Back to my other questions about the Scarlet Chorus leaders. Tell me about the gang bosses. A boss is anyone who can rally enough support to kill the previous boss. They cling to command until someone gets wise and stabs them in the back. Tip Cap leads the filthy lambs, Locke leads the rusted harps, Sharp used to lead the bone boys. Couldn't say where he ended up after they broke his legs. Waterwheels orders around the hairy hunters, Halls for shit leads the lazy Balkans, then the Scurvy Queen, Finger Food, and Wild Gash collectively lead the ladies of perpetual strangulation. I'm forgetting at least a dozen more. I've even led a gang or two in my day. They never survive for very long, so no point in getting attached. You led a gang? Don't act so surprised. I can crack a whip better than any of those daisies at the disfavored labor camps. But I was never that interested in the power struggle of those grunts and scabs in the middle. I wanted to stand on the top like an apex predator. Here I am. So when I got tired of a gang, I disbanded and let the other bosses fight over the new recruits. That much amused me, at least. Some of my old mates are still alive and hanging around wherever they ended up. Back to my other questions about the Scarlet Chorus. Let me ask you about something else.
What do you need to know?
Wow, she's got so much to say. We'll talk again later. I am feeling lightheaded from my illness and too much reading, so I'm not going to continue with her dialogue. And my throat's getting raw. You see a very old broken section of the wall. There's a rope hanging down that has recently been used to scale it. Let's climb up the rope.
Interesting.
I found a potion of invisibility.
Can't do that.
What do you mean can't do that? Climb down. Yeah, I got up the rope, you can get down the rope. Fatebinder, Aurora salutes as you approach. We are honored by your presence. Need something? Carry on for now. She taps her gauntlet to her breastplate and salute. Have a pleasant siege, Fatebinder. Gonna continue.
Sorry, I can't.
Looting
Can't
the
do that.
area.
Can't do that.
How do we get up there? Have to go out? Oh, okay. Actually, been about 2 hours. I'm gonna stop for now. Take a break. Maybe lie down. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy watching, please tune in next time. Currently, the games I'm playing are
Sorry, I can't.
Tyranny and Pillars of
Can't do that.
Eternity 2. Mostly, I will be trying to wrap up Pillars of Eternity 2 when I do have time to stream, but I will be periodically doing Tyranny to make sure I have videos to post to my YouTube channel. Once again, thank you. Please tune in next time if you enjoyed yourself. Have a good day. And sorry about being sick, but I had to get some videos out there.